I just got done at the federal court building, but I'll give it a second. And I wanted to explain a YouTube post. Oh, drop my water bottle. I wanted to explain a YouTube post I made for a upcoming case that I think um, would greatly benefit. I don't think it's something that will sink without it, but I think it would greatly benefit should they decide to help. But anyway, I'll wait for a couple people to join in, see if we get anybody. If not, we'll we'll just wait for the community to pass the message along. But while people are rolling in, I'll just explain what I was saying earlier. So I promised a live stream from City Hall about the community post I made a while back on getting the help from what I believe the three best people to be Nora, Laura, and Aaron regarding a civil lawsuit that I'm looking to file against a police agency. And that the whole premise of the case is a public records request that was very clearly unjustly held. It has to do with Scientology, and it has to do with somebody that was a victim who basically was completely forgotten about. And from the time that I have going back and forth via the CPRA, I'm 100% confident that I have the agency locked in a corner and they know it. And what they're trying to do is a Hail Mary to pray that I never file the writ of mandate to get a court order for them to release the police report as well as the CAD call logs for the dispatcher notes and the names of the dispatcher and some of the recordings that happened for the call of service. So it's for somebody that was a victim. They ultimately died as a result, and I think having an affidavit from Laura, Nora, and Aaron about not just from what they've said on YouTube, but I think having a sworn affidavit specifically from their personal experience on the matter and what they personally saw at this location, very short, maybe 1 or 2 pages, would go that much further in ensuring the case's success. Like I said, I'm pretty confident even without it, but I think if they could be there for the inevitable, for the eventual case management conference hearing, that would be great. I'd be happy to drive them there personally. But I promised the community an update, an explanation for that post I made. And basically, I'm just looking for an affidavit from them that I'd help guide along what that would even look like anyway, on what they personally saw and experienced on the base, and how it contradicts everything that local law enforcement says goes on, as well as some of the statements that Scientology says went on. And I think having people that have firsthand experience that can actually, speak to those experiences would greatly help. Even better, because it would be on the record. And this is not for suing for money damages or anything of the sort. This is what they call a writ of mandate, where I'm basically suing the agency because they withheld a public records request that was reasonable. It was a police report, a CAD call, and some other incident-related normal public records like the dispatcher notes, the time of the arrival on scene, and so forth. The incident ID of the police report itself, they withheld that too, and refused to even partially disclose the police report for something that's happened well over almost 3 decades now. So I'm hoping at some point, if I run across them, I've just been super busy. Um, I'm hoping to win them over, and if not, no problem. There's always the option for them to file an affidavit while the case is playing out. But me just being who I am, I like to over prepare and have everything ready to go at once. But the gist of it is an affidavit from at least one of these people, Nora, Laura, or Aaron, for what they've personally seen and know of the goings on at this base, would greatly help, I think, in ensuring the case's success, so that the public records for the request I made are released. And even if they're not, for example, to have on record showing that a law enforcement agency is acting in an obstructive manner despite the fact that they are trying to apply unjust exemptions to clearly records that should be publicly released, and that they won't even listen to sworn affidavits that people who have firsthand knowledge of that area and that directly contradict some of the statements made by this police agency, I think would go a great long way. So I'm hoping to win them over. I'm hoping the word gets out, and it might very well be the case, though, that they want to see the case filed first and see what I say before they commit to signing an affidavit, which is totally understandable. But I think, overall for me, the reason why I'm doing this is it's going to be a great practice for me to litigate, especially in the realm of public records. There's so few people that will even, as attorneys, practically nobody will even consider being an attorney for public records lawsuits, because generally those public records don't show damages incurred by the plaintiff for withholding them, and so they don't get to win out on big earnings after the fact. But it doesn't mean that those cases aren't worthy of being prosecuted. In fact, because of somebody being willing to file such a case back in 2020, that's why we have the Watch the Watchers website. That's why we have all the names and photos of the LAPD officers, how much they make, where they work, their emails, who they report to, and so on. And that was actually Ben Camacho who made that CPRA request all the way back in 2020 and won the case and got the list of officer names, photos, serial numbers, emails, divisions, salary released. So I'm hoping the community does their part. I will actually be traveling coming up this weekend, and I don't know if Aaron will be in New York City, but I'll actually be in New York City. And so if he is, I'd love to chat his ear off about this then. But otherwise, it might just be the case that I file the case first, and then they might be willing to more strongly consider filing an affidavit for what they've seen personally at the base. So we'll see. It's a very interesting case indeed, and in this particular courthouse, they actually allow for live video streaming of their case proceedings. So the best part is, and eventually, as the case does play out, what I plan on doing is I'll have I'll set up my laptop so that I stream from my YouTube the case proceedings, so you guys can just click on the YouTube stream link to watch it, and rather than trying to mess around with registering for the live stream on the court's website to attend via Zoom and whatnot. But yeah, it's gonna be a great case. I think it has a lot of teeth behind it, and the biggest indicator I know that shows me how I know that to be true is specifically because they started shooting off a bunch of completely like out of left field exemptions for why they're withholding the records. And so yeah, it's a good case, and I hope that I have the support of at least one of the three people, Laura, Nora, and Aaron, who I know have had direct firsthand experience with the base, and I'm hoping that I can get just a short one-page affidavit of what they know to be true that actually happens on that base, and how this person who never got the justice that they deserved, and ultimately ended up paying the biggest price for daring to speak out, ultimately ended up dying as a result of it for what I believe to be a wrongful death. And I think this case for releasing some of those records from the law enforcement agency that responded will be a great first step in helping get justice for them, so that we know definitively, what the law enforcement agency says happened versus what we know from people's firsthand experience on what actually does happen on the base, and how, Scientology was neglectful, and what I believe ultimately resulted in that person losing their life. So there you go. That's basically what I'm trying to do in a nutshell. I know Audit and Laura have been coming to City Hall much more lately. I'll have to see if I have time to meet up with Laura in person, but I'm hoping that at some point along the line I can get one of them to commit to signing an affidavit. And like I said, I think it might just be the case that after I file the actual petition and a case number is assigned so that you guys can personally see for yourselves, they might be willing to join afterwards. But I think it's a pretty slam dunk case, and I look forward to litigating it on my own. It'll be great practice for me, and the best part is, for what I get out of it, on my law school application I get to write down that I litigated such a case. So great practice. You just can't beat that. Sitting in a courtroom and litigating some of these smaller civil cases, I think is great practice and warm up for my inevitable future soon-to-be career as a licensed attorney. But that's basically the whole rundown I had for you guys. I'm hoping to meet and chat with either Laura, Aaron, or Nora in person. Like I said, I'll be traveling over just this weekend on the East Coast in New York City, and I know sometimes Aaron travels out to New York City, so who knows, maybe I get to run into him there. But figured I'd make the video ahead of time, put the message out there ahead of time. I know these things takes a while to eventually work through the system, but Haggis, yes, I am going to law school. I'm currently preparing for my LSATs. So all the practice LSATs that I've taken, I've gotten in the short time that I've been practicing, I've gotten in the low 170 range for my scores, but I'm looking to score a minimum of between 175 to 180, where 180 is what they consider to be a perfect score. But yeah, I'm getting 170s, low 170s on just some of the practice tests I'm taking right now, and I won't accept that. I need my score to be at least in between 175 to 180. All the law schools that I'm looking at for what they give on good scholarships, especially ones that give full rides, I definitely need to score minimum 175, which I'm pretty confident. I mean, just in the past like month and a half-ish of my practice, if I can get to scoring this much, I feel pretty confident in scoring at least a 175. But I want, realistically, my my real target is a minimum of 178. And then once I get that, I mean, I think I'll be a shoo-in for a lot of good scholarships, if not outright full rides to a lot of places. Especially considering a lot of the history I have and good standing and whatnot. So, but yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Haggis. I've already got my my people chosen for my letters of recommendation. I've got a lot of the other standard questions out of the way for my application. The only ones I haven't filled out yet are the specific what they have for merit scholarships, particular to the university for fellowships, which are like the full ride. You know, you're getting all your whole tuition coverage, and that's my goal. So I'm looking at there's a handful of schools in particular. All of them are in big major cities that I think I'm a great shoo-in for, and then I feel pretty confident in getting a full ride. But yeah, so that's the goal, that's the outline, and I'm already committed. I've already paid my fees. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna be damn sure to score as high as close to perfect if I can get, if not a 180 score. But yeah. So anyway, that's my plea to Laura, Nora, and Aaron. And like I said, I think realistically, they likely won't commit to writing an affidavit until I actually file the lawsuit. But for those that say that they're skeptical and they won't believe me, ask Audit LA. She can vouch for me, for sure. She knows I've been working on this for the better past year. So Audit LA for sure can vouch for me. And that's not just me name dropping her and putting her on the spot. She definitely 100% knows that it's real, and that I've been working on it for quite a while, and it's now time. And so yeah, and yeah, I mean, actually, that's they call it graduate student housing. So some of the colleges do provide that as part of their scholarship package. Now they'll separate it where the money they will give, you'll have the fellowship that will cover the full cost of the tuition, but then they'll have a separate set of scholarships that will be considered for your again, they call it graduate housing, where you get to live on campus. And so some do that, some don't. So yeah, that's the goal though. Basically get a full, complete ride, or 95% of the way there minimum, because a lot of these schools are just stupidly overpriced, and for a brokey like me, that just ain't cutting it. But I think, given my scores and overall grades, I think I'll be pretty good. I think I'll be pretty good about it. But yeah. But yeah. So I promised you guys a stream explaining some of the stuff on what I've been working on, what I've been up to, and here it is. If you guys don't know, by the way, the state courts are actually closed off today for California state celebration of Native American, their American Day. So all the state courts are closed, but the federal courts are open. And I was chatting with some buddies of mine here. And City Hall today, for those of you that don't know, the City Council is actually meeting over in Van Nuys. That's Padilla's district, because of course Van Nuys. So nobody's in the hall today, and it's pretty empty. And I sure as shit was not going to go all the way out to Van Nuys. So the one time I had some free time, I didn't realize it until it was way too late, and I was like, oh, they're not meeting here at all. So anyway, I'll keep this short. I'm hoping that the community, reaches out to Laura, Nora, and Aaron to see if they'd be willing. They're not the only ones that do have firsthand experience, but I know that they're some of the more social media prevalent folks, so I figured I would at least start there, and I know Laura's around here, so there's that. But for those of you that doubt me, like I said, Audit LA, 100%, 100% can vouch for me. She knows it's legit. It's a real case with real work, and I've rewritten the fucking thing now 4 times. So, and I took Spindler's advice on to keep it 20 pages for the complaint itself, so I did. Excluding the exhibits, the actual complaint in totality is 20 pages, and I feel pretty good about it at this point. It's as good as it's gonna get. So there's that. But that's the update I had for you, Dana. I may or may not be meeting up with your boy later. He's been a hungry boy, and he's got like 3 other buffet places that he said we should check out. So I might hit him up on that, but who knows? But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I'll cut it off here. I gotta head out and do some other shit while I'm down here. And yeah, like I said, I can't wait. Eventually, at some point, you guys are gonna get to see the case proceedings be live streamed on video. It's one of the few courts that, as a local rule, they have that they just fucking live stream all the video proceedings. A lot of Texas courts actually do this. I don't know why it's not more prevalent, especially in Southern California, but it is what it is. And yeah, it's and then the last suit I have that I'm working on is the civil rights suit proper against the city for not just the selective prosecution, but all the other ways that they basically targeted me as a result. So I applied for a bunch of different welfare programs, basically got ghosted on all of them. But I know for a fact that other people who applied for those programs in that same time period that I did, they got helped almost immediately, and they just threw me in the shitter completely and ignored all my applications. So that realistically I'll finish writing by the end of the year. I think I'll have a proper first pass finish of it by the end of the year, and filing beginning early first quarter of next year. Is it a California? No, it's a court thing generally. Like, the courts are very stupid about it. I'm actually surprised. So like here at the federal building, right, when I was tuning into the homelessness fraud case against the city, the thing is, the actual court proceedings are all videotaped. Obviously they have security cameras, and the courts actually save all that video footage, okay? Which is, again, so the courts have everything videotaped, right? Yet there's such a pain in the ass about you videotaping inside of the court, which is stupid. It's like, okay, we have 30 security cameras up on the ceiling recording video and audio of everything. Why can't the public just record as well and stream it? I mean, it's already a public open forum, but it's a local court rule. Not every court allows you to do it. It's based just locally on what that particular local court feels like they want to allow. But in Texas, for example, criminal cases are publicly streamed by the court's own websites, and similarly civil cases are publicly streamed. So I don't know, man. Fucking California is weird with, like, they're extremely liberal on some things, and then like stupidly control freak and conservative on some things. It makes no fucking sense, but that's just what it is. This court has a local rule where, except for family law cases, especially ones that deal with minors, every other civil case they will live stream. So, and it's a state court, it's not a federal court one. So that's just what it is, Dana. I don't know why. It is what it is. So, all right, guys, I gotta head out. Talk to you guys later, but stay tuned for a surprise guest appearance in New York City. And yeah, I mean, if they let you record, then they can't claim as lost. Yeah, I know. Every courtroom is public, so I hate it. I wish we should be able to, and yeah, it's stupid. But anyway, I'll see you guys. Peace out.